So I had a very, very deep experience this weekend, and I would call it a shamanic healing journey. Let's just call it that. Also, side note, there's a lot of mess behind me, but we're just gonna cover that up with the chair. Anyway, from this experience, I had a lot of awakenings and I learned a lot of things which, we already know so many things. We already know so many things intellectually, but really to experience this, and this is what I teach, right? It's really about feeling and knowing these things, which is really going to create those profound shifts in our life. Not information, not understanding, analyzing, and intellectualizing, but actually really deeply feeling things. So, yeah, there were three things which really came to light to me, for me, for us, for you. And this is why I want to share those three things. So, the first one is around energetical hygiene. What is energetical hygiene? So, physically, we know how to be hygienic. We know how to, well, most of us do know how to shower ourselves and clean ourselves. But how often are we looking at the energy that we're taking from other people and cleansing ourselves from it? Now, this may seem like woo-woo nonsense, but this really goes for everybody and this really impacts everybody. And the best way I can explain how that happens is when we're around people, when we are supporting people, and this goes for everybody. This goes for coaches, for healers, for empaths, for boyfriends, girlfriends, wives, husbands, mothers. I don't know if I already said that one. Anyone who acts as a support from someone else. And when you are supporting people, when they're going through these heavier energies, we don't always see, and I wish we could, right, with energy, what we are physically taking on. What energetical space are we taking on from those people? Because being a support and being of service is ultimately what is going to give us the most joy and the most freedom and the most happiness. But what we need to do along the way, myself included, is really seeing and understanding when you are supporting, what are you taking on and how can you cleanse that energy? How can you give it back and recycle it with love? So, there's so many ways in which we can do this. We can simply just after supporting someone, checking with ourselves and feeling, God, what am I carrying? Do I feel heavier? Do I feel more dense? If someone comes in a room and they're super angry, you're going to more than likely pick up that vibration and feel it. So, how can you transmute that? Now, the best way to do that is number one, feeling it in yourself, feeling the emotion, because that helps to move the emotion in the first place. We've got to feel it to heal it. Um, of course, there's so many different things which we can do here. I teach the letting go method. Um, and even just from a really physical perspective, somatically, we can shake energy off. We can smudge and cleanse ourselves with Sao Paulo or that sort of thing. But I think what the most important thing here, what I'm trying to say is when we are supporting somebody, really after we do that, checking in with our own energetical hygiene to make sure that we are not carrying that around and taking the space, taking a practice. And this is something I do before all of my client sessions is before I will always do a meditation to clear my energy. But now something I'm going to implement is after my sessions, giving it back with love. Because the sessions are so, so, so beautiful. But how can I make sure that I am energetically clean so that I can support more people? And I think this is a really, really healthy reminder for all of us. Now, the second thing I want to talk about, and this might sound like a bit of nonsense, but apparently it was very profound at the time when it happened. So I wanted to share it with you, is it's okay to not be okay in very, very simple terms. And again, this is what I teach. I teach that we don't just jump to thinking positive. We allow ourselves to feel and move through those more negative energies. But I had a really, really big reminder of this weekend when I felt like I was trying to control a situation. I was trying to run away from not being okay. And what came out of me like a stream of consciousness was it's okay to not be okay. And that's how we know that we're actually okay. But the issues come in when we're not okay with not being okay. Because when we're not okay with not being okay, that is when the issue persists. When we're not okay with not being okay, that is creating resistance. And then we have two negative energies of not being okay. I'm not okay, not being okay. And that causes resistance. And what happens when we resist? The emotions persist. So it was a very, very important reminder to me to lean into not being okay and being okay with it. And I know this sounds like a complete tongue twister, and I hope that it makes sense to you. But I guess, long story short, is yeah, it was a really big reminder to me that it's okay to not be okay and surrendering to that and being in it, because that then lets go of this resistance when we just completely surrender and say, yeah, I'm going to lean into what feels uncomfortable. I'm going to lean into the unknown and the uncertainty. And that is so freeing. And, I teach people to do that with emotions, and we can do it with things in our physical reality, when we feel like we're losing control, be okay with that, be okay with physical things and events happening. And yeah, long story short, being okay with not being okay. So that was the second lesson. So the first one for me was around energetical hygiene, making sure we're clearing that out. The second one was leaning into being okay with not being okay. And when I explained this or I vocalized this to a few different people, they said, wow, that is so profound, because I've never looked at it that way. I never looked at it that if I'm not okay with not being okay, then I'm trying to control and creating this friction and this resistance. And the third one is a very, very, very quick one. And it's around the importance of safe social connection. Now, I had this weekend with a community of people, and I hear it from my clients all of the time that safety is one of the biggest benefits. Feeling safe in being able to be ourselves, being able to be our authentic selves. And when I reflected on what that meant, is being able to show our darkness, being able to not be okay and show that to others and feel safe in that. And this is such an important thing that I've really, really built into my program, is having the building blocks for safety. And when we can be safe around other people, that is really when we grow. Yes, we need to have the practices by ourselves. And yes, we need to learn ourselves and teach ourselves how to hold ourselves, because we have the wisdom within us and we will always be our best teachers. But at the same time, having that support, having that guidance, and feeling safe within that social connection was just so, so valuable for me this weekend. And it's something that I want to continue to create, continue to be in, and continue to share, is the importance of safe social connection. So those are my three big reminders, lessons learned this weekend. Energetical hygiene. It's okay to not be okay, and really embracing and leaning into that safe social connection. So hope you enjoyed that. And, if you want help with any of this, if you find what I say useful, if you feel like you vibe with me, please DM me on Instagram. My name is @Emotional Health School. Well, my real name is Becky Evans, but that is my business name where you'll find me. And yeah, please DM me the word relief I help people to feel relief from stress and anxiety and all of these other heavy emotional burdens to teach ourselves how to be okay in those feelings, how to feel safe around other people, and how to energetically clear out your space. So, yeah, I look forward to chatting to you and thank you so much for listening.